Most people are not engaged in cartoon villainy. They are spiritually asleep, running culturally installed programs, emotionally occupied, and largely identified with the thoughts and moods that pass through them. Montauk's framework still holds. The matrix control system functions as both a hard school and an energy farm. Its outer layers, media, education, economic pressure, social engineering, keep the population docile, tired, suggestible, and spiritually undernourished. The deeper layers involve hyperdimensional and archonic forces that feed on the emotional energy generated by that state, especially fear, grievance, drama, lust, and unresolved pain. The system does not need most people to be consciously evil. It only needs them to remain unexamined. When the interior is left vacant, never cleared of disowned material, never filled with sustained light or honest self-reflection, darker currents move through easily. The person becomes a vessel. Their living creative energy is used. They project the shadow they will not face, searching outside for the missing parts of themselves while remaining cut off from those parts. The ego hardens around the disowned material. Two common outcomes follow: collapse into breakdown and victimhood, or a rigid, withered separation that calls itself, quote, just how life is, unquote. In both cases, the individual stays inside the farm. A central feature of this sleep is hypnosis by the outer world. People experience strong emotional charges: irritation, moral outrage, fascination, fear, contempt, and assume the charge originates in the people or events, quote, out there, unquote. In reality, much of it is their own disowned material reflected back. The external scene becomes a screen. Because the projection is not recognized, they remain convinced the problem is purely external, and the interior stays uncleared. This keeps the cycle of projection and reaction intact. Language itself is part of the mechanism. As Orwell illustrated with Newspeak, when vocabulary is steadily narrowed and precision is replaced by vague, emotionally charged, or purely functional terms, the range of possible thought contracts. People lose the tools to name subtle interior states, to distinguish frequencies, or to articulate anything beyond the approved surface. Mental worlds become small. What cannot be said clearly eventually becomes difficult to perceive at all. This linguistic constriction reinforces the broader hypnotic docility. Keep the population exhausted, distracted, financially precarious, and emotionally reactive so it remains suggestible and productive of the energies that sustain the lower system. Learning is framed as threat rather than hunger. Self-reflection stays minimal. The result is a field in which clarity and unbroken presence are uncommon. When someone who is actually awake appears, clear, interiorly ordered, and not seeking permission, the reaction is often the irritation of a spoiled child whose game has been interrupted. The anger is not primarily about the content of what is said. It is about being reminded that another state is possible. That reminder itself is experienced as an offense. The same pattern appears in the alternative scenes. Many who preach embracing every emotion or dissolving into nature are not awake. They are often identified with comfort, mood, and an unexamined self. That is not enlightenment. Likewise, certain masculinity circles replace real interior strength and the capacity for love with posturing and emotional cutoff. Both are incomplete. One dissolves the spine, the other freezes the heart. Neither clears the vessel nor fills it with light. The world is structured to maintain this state. The outer machinery induces docility, while the deeper forces harvest what the docility produces. Most never notice the arrangement because they are inside it. Those who do notice are left with the simple responsibility to stop pretending the sleep is mutual and to speak from the level of clarity that has actually been reached, without dilution and without contempt. The contrast itself becomes the teaching.